Hey everybody, this is Ozark Prepper 1, and I told you I would make a video recapping what I said about a year ago. That video got removed. It's a secret that's out in the open. Okay, in the United States and Canada and most of the European countries, the traditional Western countries, and even Russia, they've dealt with this in Russia. We have a parasitical bunch in all of these nations, and they look similar to us, but they're not us. That's their own words. That's not picking on them or anything. But if you want to see what's going on, we send billions of dollars to one small, tiny nation down near the equator. So you'll figure that out. And we send billions every year to that nation. Well, come back to the United States and drive through these nice subdivisions. And if you're some kind of a route driver, look at the names. Look at the last names. If you notice, they all have something in common. There are names that trace back to that tiny little nation. To my theory, which I believe is 100% correct, is we funnel money to that nation, and they funnel it all back to the people that are here. And a lot of people have caught on to that, so they stop using that nation as much. They're still doing it, but they're drawing attention to another nation. Was formerly known as Khazaria. That borders Russia. But talk to any route driver and ask them what some of the common names are in those subdivisions, and what you will notice, there are people in their 20s and 30s, 40s, and they're always home. They have an RV. They have brand new vehicles. They have a beautiful wife. Their life is just perfect. You know, they have a source of income from somewhere, but they're always home. And you know, I wouldn't be so suspicious if it were just a few. But this is entire subdivisions of people like this. And you know, I've worked in those subdivisions. I've drove through those subdivisions. I've done the delivery thing, the pickup thing. I've done all that. And I noticed that it looked to me like it was here comes the servant, and look at all these masters in this subdivision. So that, you know, they believe they're the masters of the world. And I don't believe that. I believe every race has their own strengths and weaknesses. And some races are better at most things than other races. That's just nature. It's just like animals. You can take a set of dogs, and there's one dog breed that is overall better than the rest of them at most things. That's just nature. It's not hate. It's biology. I don't think I'm supreme. Actually, I think I'm very uninformed. I don't believe my IQ is that high. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I was dumbed down, and I had to learn things the hard way. When you grow up young, your parents die when you're young. You have to learn the hard way. You have to make those embarrassing mistakes. Because there's nobody there to slap you in the face to tell you to stop. There's nobody there to tell you to shut up. But that's what's going on. And they have told all these Western countries, they've told the United States, they've told France, Germany, England, Sweden, Switzerland, Finland. They've knocked on the doors of Poland and Hungary. You know, a couple of those nations stood up to them, saying, we're not going to have you do that to us. Mud up our country. You know, you see a similar thing in like South Africa. You know, but you know, I can understand both sides of that argument, but the people, the Dutch that settled South Africa, made that place a great place to live for everybody. And now it's ruined because they handed power back to the original people and angered those people and told them to hate the people who built that country, because that country was nothing before the Dutch went there. But what they want to do is flood the United States and Europe and Russia with people who are not of that biology. And the reason they want to do that is they want to lower the IQ. And what happens is when you take cultures and you erase cultures, and that goes anywhere. You go to Africa. If we were to flood into Africa, it would ruin their culture. If we were to flood into South America, we would ruin their culture. Because everybody's based in their own land. But that's what's going on. And they moved with it slowly until about the 1950s and 60s, and then they started cranking it up. And they really did it in England. If you watch an England sporting event or something, the people don't look like they're from England. And that's wrong. Same way with France. The streets of France have been on fire from all these trash that came into their country. Because they don't ship their good people there. These ain't doctors and lawyers and stuff showing up. Well, the lawyers, we don't need those either. But there's not engineers and stuff flooding into those nations. This trash. These are the lowest IQ trash they can get rid of, and that's what they're doing. And then they play on the emotions of undesirable women in this country. Then they breed and they have kids, and those kids have lower IQs than their parents. They're easier to manipulate, easier to control, and that's what's happening. Anyway, it's about 28 degrees Fahrenheit. That's probably around 0 Celsius. I don't know. But the wind's not blowing, so it's not that bad. Anyway, enough for today's information. You'll have a great rest of the week. Ozark Prepper 1 out.